Okay, Tom. Toni Collette squad.
Yes, wearing the hat
That's
today.
you.
She was nominated for this.
She was nominated for this, yes. I'm Erin.
I'm Tom.
This is Baby's First Watch List, the podcast ending spooky season with a ghost story.
Yeah.
That's right.
I thought it was going to be our only one, but we ended up doing The Shining, so.
That's ghosty. We are covering the cultural phenomenon of the late 90s that was The Sixth Sense.
Yes.
A classic. This movie was written and directed by Philly's own M. Night Shyamalan, and he will let you know.
The biggest ovation I've ever seen at a 76ers game was when he came out. Him and Biz Marquee.
R.I.P. to Biz Marquee.
R.I.P. Biz.
Yep. So M. Night Shyamalan is known for movies like Unbreakable, Signs, and Split. I kept it nice.
Lady in the Water.
The Happening.
The Village.
The Sixth Sense was his third film after Praying with Anger and Wide Awake, but it's really seen as his breakout movie.
For sure. The second one had like Rosie O'Donnell in it, and it was supposed to be like, it was like a family drama, but it was supposed to be like, I don't know, for some reason it didn't, like the studio took it over, and he was sort of fed up with the studios after that second movie.
And that makes sense because it was like a stipulation that if you bought The Sixth Sense, he had to direct.
Yes.
So I guess that makes a lot of sense there. Starring Bruce Willis, Toni Collette, and Haley Joel Osment, whose film debut, do you know?
I do, but I forgot.
1994's Forrest Gump.
Yes.
The Sixth Sense was shot by Tak Fujimoto, who was also the cinematographer for Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Silence of the Lambs, Gladiator, and Philadelphia.
That's a illustrious group of movies.
He did a lot more too. He worked a lot with John Hughes. He worked a lot with a lot of different directors, and he's now a retired cinematographer. He actually, as a child, was in an internment camp in California.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy
during
that
World War II.
It's crazy that people that were in like World War II were around in the 90s, and like they still are, like George Takei.
Yep.
Like, so it's crazy how like recent that was.
Yeah, it's crazy. Editor Andrew Monsheen's credits include many collaborations with Sidney Lumet, and he was nominated for this movie for the Oscar. The music was by James Newton Howard, who has a Grammy, he has an Emmy, and although he doesn't have an Oscar, he has 9 Oscar nominations from the 100+ movies that he has scored.
Wow.
He also was part of Elton John's band in the 70s and early 80s.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I'll look him up a little bit more. I didn't want to write down everything that he did, but he had so many hits. And he worked, so like he is with Hans Zimmer for doing The Dark Knight. Like he worked with Hans Zimmer on that. He did Pretty Woman, The Fugitive, Space Jam, Dinosaur, Peter Pan, King Kong, The Dark Knight, which he composed with Hans Zimmer, Hunger Games, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Jungle Cruise. He worked on all of Francis Lawrence's movies since I Am Legend. He scored 8 of M. Night Shyamalan's films, starting with The Sixth Sense. And he does so much.
That is wild.
Yeah. His latest Oscar nomination is for News of the World, which we watched.
Yes.
And he was married to Rosanna Arquette for 1 year. He also toured with Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
No Young?
Hold on.
Oh, man.
It doesn't say Young. Nope.
It's crucial information.
And he also worked a lot with Toto, especially on the movie Dune.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He blessed the reins, I suppose.
So he does a lot. Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
And he's 72. So like he's
got time.
He's got time to do more. Get that Oscar. So yeah, that's pretty neato. The movie, The Sixth Sense, has I think perfect runtime of 108 minutes.
It doesn't overstay its welcome at all.
It's perfect. It was released in August 1999. It was a critical and commercial success. The movie made $672.8 million on a $40 million budget.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. It was the second highest grossing film of the year after 1999.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
That's correct. Did you know that, or did you see it?
I did know that.
After its release to video, The Sixth Sense was at that time, I don't know what beat it, or if anything beat it, didn't say. It was at that time the top video rental of all time.
Oh yeah, I don't know the answer to
which
that.
makes a lot of sense because it's one of those word of mouth movies for sure.
Absolutely. It came out around the same time as another famous word of mouth movie, The Blair Witch Project.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which also, I wouldn't call The Blair Witch Project as like having twists, but
No, well, kind of, but not really.
definitely a kind of scary, spooky
One that was spread by word of mouth.
word of mouth.
Yeah, because it had come out it came out at Sundance that year in like April or whatever, and then this came out. What month did you say? August. Yeah, so it was coming out wide release around this time.
Mm-hmm.
Blair Witch.
The Sixth Sense spent 5 weeks at #1 at the box office. Again, that's because people would see it, tell their friends, you have to go see this. I'm not going to tell you what happened.
Yep.
And then everybody would see it. The movie received 6 Academy Award nominations for Best Picture, Director, Editing, Original Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress. So Haley Joel Osment and Toni Collette. Unfortunately, no Bruce Willis, which is a shame.
It's a shame. He was excellent in this. I'm not I'm not a card carrying member of the Bruce Willis fan club generally, but I thought he was great in this.
I love him in this. And in 2013, the Writers Guild of America named it number 50 on the 101 greatest screenplays ever written.
Wow.
Yep. Hold on one second. I have like another question that I just thought of that I want to write down.
We're working on the fly, people.
I have a whole ton. I just thought of one right here.
I have a ton too.
So I can give you my NJ connection if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the easy one is not quite NJ.
No.
So M. Night Shyamalan's from Philly. This is like, besides Rocky, maybe the most Philly movie ever.
I
and
wrote
Silver
that.
Linings Playbook.
I wrote that.
Like when I think of Philly movies, those all stick out to me. And so Philadelphia is very close to where we live. It's definitely the easiest city for us to go to.
If you're not familiar with the geography of like the Northeast United States, Philadelphia is much closer to South New Jersey than New York City is.
Yes, exactly.
But when you think of New Jersey, most people probably think of either the Shore or North Jersey.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
which is not where we are.
Right, and so we're really close to Philly. So whenever we see something Philadelphia related, especially me because I grew up in this area, it's very much like, oh, there's us.
Yeah,
even though it's technically on the other side of the river. But I do have a closer NJ connection.
Okay.
Do you know?
Not actually New Jersey.
No, this is actually New Jersey.
Oh, okay, because you said closer. I thought you meant...
No, an actual New Jersey connection, which is actually farther than Philadelphia.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Is it Bruce Willis related?
Yes, it is.
Is he from somewhere, or he like...
He grew up in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So Bruce Willis was born in West Germany. But
oh yeah, right, because his dad I think was a military or something.
Exactly. Yeah. But he grew up in his father's hometown of Carneys Point, New Jersey, which is super south.
Like the other way. I was thinking up north.
No, not quite like Cape May, but like very close.
Yeah.
South. He graduated from Penns Grove High School. He worked as a security guard at the Salem Nuclear Power Plant, Salem, New Jersey. And going the opposite way, he attended Montclair State University.
Maybe I think that's what I knew. And right, because that's up north.
Makes a lot of sense to me because Bruce Willis gives hardcore New Jersey energy. And he has always said that he grew up in a very blue collar environment and that his family's all very blue collar. So all of it tracks for me.
It makes sense.
And it feels very like him in The Sixth Sense makes so much sense to me. Just his demeanor and his accent or everything just fits. And so it makes sense that he's from South Jersey.
Shyamalan wrote the movie with him in mind.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. If Shyamalan is a Philly person, he grew up with like, I think it was like Jaws, Die Hard, and like he had like 3 different posters on his wall when he was a kid. Mm-hmm. And obviously Bruce Willis was on his wall. Right. And not when he was a kid, I guess when he was a little bit younger. Yeah. And so he specifically was like, I want to write a movie for that guy. I had him in mind and he's a perfect fit. And it's funny that he was a perfect fit because his previous roles were nothing like this.
No.
He was very like wisecracky and yeah.
Well, I heard that M. Night Shyamalan was in between 2 people when he wrote it.
Okay.
Either Bruce Willis and DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Philly guy. That makes sense. That fits.
Stupid.
Not Will Smith.
No, only the one we've seen, DJ Jazzy Jeff.
The one we've seen
at
live.
The Ritz Picnic.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got on The Sixth Sense. I personally love this movie. Before you get into your summary, I'll talk about my experience
Yeah,
with
go
The
for it.
Sixth Sense. I watched it at a friend's house. I had somehow been able to escape the twist. Like I really tried to not know it when I first saw the movie, and so I was successful because the internet wasn't what it is
Yeah,
now.
I had no shot.
Um,
I didn't watch it till later.
yeah, and I remember I watched it, and then it was at a sleepover. I think it was for like field hockey or something. And when the twist happened, I just started crying. I was sobbing for like 10 minutes. I couldn't help it. It was a very emotional movie. You think of it as like, oh, it's scary and it's got the cool twist in it, but it's a lot deeper than that. And something just hit me.
This is one of those movies that I think works in the sense of it's a drama first and a horror movie second.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's a lot of movies that have taken that sort of formula. Not that this was the first movie to ever do that, but if you look at the Hereditaries and Midsommars, like the Ari Aster stuff, that pulls directly from something like this, where it's not Hereditary is a family drama styled as a horror movie. Midsommar is a breakup movie styled as a horror movie.
Right.
I find those to be very effective when they're done right.
More compelling than a just traditional horror for the sake of scaring people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this movie is also, my dad's claim to fame is that he guessed it before the end.
Yeah.
He says it, and my mom was there, and he said, I know the twist, but I don't want to tell you right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know that's how it went.
I think he did tell her beforehand, though. But yeah, that's his claim to fame is he knew. I did not. I did, which is so dumb because like it's so obvious once you know it.
I'm going to talk about this later. What makes this twist so great is that it's so obvious.
That's what makes it awesome. I hate when it's like, oh, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Or like, oh, there was that one little thing at
Right.
that one moment. It's like, no, this is telling you.
Very obvious.
It's screaming at you in every single scene.
Yeah, and you still didn't get it. Like most people still didn't get it.
I had already, like,
You knew
I
it.
watched it like 2 or 3 years ago for the first time. Or maybe it was like 5 years ago now. But I knew I had already known the twist, so I can't weigh in on that aspect of it.
All right, so let's go to.
I'll do the taglines first.
Okay.
There's 3 good ones. One of them is, there are ghosts walking among us looking for help, ... They have found it.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah. The other one, the main one, was, not every gift is a blessing.
That's a great tagline.
Yes. And finally, one that I think is like maybe the scariest one. Do you believe now?
That's scary.
That is a scary one.
They're all scary.
Yeah. Then there's also like 1, touch, 2, sight, 3, blah, blah, blah. And it's like the Sixth Sense.
Oh. Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. So I will do the plot summary now. I have not read this, so we're going to see how it goes. It's,
Okay, good luck.
Shout out Wikipedia. Shout out to my editors out there. All right. While Philadelphia-based child psychologist Malcolm Crowe, played by Bruce Willis, is
Great
home.
name.
Yeah, is home with his wife Anna, played by Olivia Williams. Vincent Gray, shockingly played by Donnie Wahlberg, a former patient Malcolm had treated, breaks into their house. He accuses Malcolm of failing him before shooting Malcolm and then himself. And this is right as Malcolm has just received an award from a psychologist organization. Months later, Malcolm begins working with Cole Sear, played by Haley Joel Osment, a 9-year-old boy who reminds him of Vincent. He feels he must help Cole to rectify his failure to help Vincent and reconcile with Anna, who has become distant and cold and is suffering from depression. Cole's mother, Lynn, played by Toni Collette, worries about Cole, especially after seeing mysterious signs of physical harm. At a birthday party, when bullies see that Cole is terribly scared of a cupboard, they lock him in, causing him to scream in terror about someone seemingly inside with him. Following this, Cole finally confides to Malcolm that he sees dead people who walk around like the living do, unaware that they are dead. Hard cut to Bruce Willis's face. Malcolm thinks Cole is schizophrenic and considers dropping his case. However, I don't know why that. Anyway, however, after listening to an audio tape from a session with Vincent, Malcolm hears a man begging for help in Spanish when Vincent is supposed to be alone in the room, suggesting that Vincent had the same ability. He realizes that Cole is telling the truth and suggests that he try to communicate with the ghosts and help them finish their business. One night, Cole discovers Kira Collins, a female child ghost, vomiting. He finds out who she is and goes with Malcolm to the funeral reception at her home.
Yeah, he says, I loved the OC.
In her room, Kira gives Cole a videotape that he hands to her father, which reveals Kira's mother poisoning her food, alerting her father to the reality of her death, and saving her younger sister from the same fate.
Yeah, that part was like,
That was crazy. Now that Cole is doing better socially and personally, it marks the end of his sessions with Malcolm. Before parting ways, he suggests that Malcolm try speaking to Anna while she is asleep to ensure he can express his feelings. While stuck in traffic, Cole tells Lynn his secret. When she does not believe him, he tells her his late grandmother visits him and describes details from his mother's childhood that he could not have known. Shocked, Lynn finally accepts that her son has a special ability. Malcolm returns home to find Anna talking in her sleep, asking Malcolm why he left her, much to his confusion. When she drops his wedding ring, he notices that he's not wearing it like he thought he was. I was going to not wear it mine as a joke. Recalling what Cole told him about dead people only seeing what they want to see, and after locating his gunshot injury, Malcolm finally realizes that he did not survive being shot by Vincent and has been dead the entire time while working with Cole. Malcolm quickly comes to terms with the fact that he's a ghost, and after he tells Anna that he loves her and things will get better, his business with both her and Cole is complete, and he happily departs. The Sixth Sense.
wow.
Tight.
That movie rocks. I'm sorry. It's so good.
It is great. I mean, M. Night is just cooking in this movie.
Oh, yeah. He's firing on all cylinders.
He is cooking.
All right. Let's see here. So, first of all, okay, the Donnie Wahlberg problem. Because all right. So, Donnie Wahlberg, yes, plays the Vincent, who apparently there's another Vincent Gray with an A. And if you're looking for him on Wikipedia and you accidentally put in an E, it brings you to The Sixth Sense, because at the top it's like, if you're looking for Vincent Gray, click here. So he does not look like Donnie Wahlberg.
No.
In this movie. So I had sort of the opposite of what normally happens when I watch movies. A lot of times I get this weird filing cabinet in my brain thing going on where, and you can attest to this,
yes.
I'll be watching something and I'll be like, oh, that's so-and-so.
That's Hayden Panettiere's cousin.
Yeah, like I'll just say like random stuff. And then I'll be like, yeah, they were on a show called Suburgatory.
Yeah.
Back in 2016.
Bizarrevark.
Yeah, literally. Like some things I don't understand. It pulls out of my brain the second I see somebody. This was the opposite. I was like, I think Donnie Wahlberg plays the guy who, kills Bruce Willis. And then I'm watching the movie and I see him. I'm like, oh, that's not him. That's so weird. I thought it was him. No, it was him.
Yeah. He lost like an absurd amount of weight for this role for some reason.
Why?
I don't know.
He didn't need to.
I don't know. He lost like 30 pounds for this role.
He did not need to do that. But good for him. All right, so let's see here. Now, this movie did not win any Oscars, but it was nominated for like a lot of the big ones.
Yes.
What do you think, if you had to choose one, it doesn't have to be one of the nominated things, what was done best in The Sixth Sense? To me, it's the screenplay.
The screenplay, which is like, looking back at it in 2023 is kind of like hilarious to say about M. Night Shyamalan, because I'll admit I haven't seen a lot of his movies. But I feel like
memed a lot.
The knock on him is the screenplays, generally, and sometimes the acting, like in The Happening.
What?
No.
What?
No. Yeah. But I think it's the screenplay. I think it's a perfect screenplay. It's a perfect like movie screenplay.
Yes. Like
there's nothing. It hits everything. It's got your symbolism. It's got your themes that it really touches on well. It's got a great twist. It's an excellent screenplay.
I agree with you. I think the screenplay is just like perfect, tight, and everything is for a reason.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. He gets sort of a little bit of flack for being too heavy-handed. I think the heavy-handedness
to its benefit.
It's perfect for this movie.
Yeah.
Because like I said, what makes the great twist is first of all, that it matters in the movie. Mm-hmm. And second of all, that it's literally in front of you in every single scene.
Yes.
He's telling you over and over and over again what the twist is.
Well, and I also think that there's sometimes it's nice to have a traditional movie talk and movie twists and all that kind of stuff in there. I think that's nice. Doesn't all have to be subversive and like different and unique.
But this was at the time too.
I know it was,
like it had the structure, but like this movie's different from it fit really well in that year. I read a book, not to brag.
Yeah, wow, congratulations.
It's called like Best Movie Year Ever. I think I mentioned it on the podcast before. and it's about 1999 in movies, and it just fits so well with the sort of other types of movies that were coming out that year. It's hard for me to really explain, but it just does. Like it's draws from movies of the past, but it also adds its own twist on it. Like American Beauty kind of did the same thing. There's a bunch of those movies from that time in a more obvious way. Star Wars did by literally taking something from the 70s and making a sequel to it in the 90s. But Fight Club, like there were just these unique movies coming out that year. And even like Election, there's a bunch of movies that came out that year that are just, I don't know, did something a little different.
Yeah. I think that's
They
good.
didn't actually know what to do with this movie, the studios, because they put it at the end of August, which at the time was like the dead zone for summer blockbusters.
Yeah.
And they don't really put out summer blockbusters that are, I don't want to say thoughtful, because every now and then there's a good one that comes out in the summer, but it's not Hollywood's MO to do that. And so they were just like, I don't know, we'll like kind of put it towards Halloween, but it's not really a Halloween movie, even though this is literally coming out on Halloween. But like, they didn't really know what to do with it, and they put it at the end of August, which ended up, I think, working to its benefit, because there was nothing else out.
Yeah.
And it not that it wouldn't have been a phenomenon either way, but it definitely helped that there wasn't exactly the strongest competition coming out at the same time.
Yeah. And then you can go during the dog days of summer to your local Regal Burlington and sit in the air conditioning.
And your dad can guess the twist.
Yep. He saw it at home, but yes. Good. All right. So is this movie still scary? It's really not.
There's scary jump scares.
I didn't find it as bad as I did back in the day.
No, I think, well, the ones that scare me are like when the guy's screaming in the cupboard.
Yeah.
And like when the ghost just walks past the screen. Like it's like real tight on the screen. Apparently, I read that in one of the DVD versions, if you leave the menu on for too long, a ghost comes by the screen.
Oh, that's terrifying.
So like if you fall asleep watching it, you just hear like this like dissonant piano note as the ghost walks by the screen.
Oh my god, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
That's actually really funny.
I think it is scary.
Yeah.
Not like horrifying scary, but I think there's scary moments. It's very tense.
Fair. What's your favorite Toni Collette role?
So she's got this. She's got Knives Out. She's got Hereditary. What else does she have?
Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, that movie.
In Her Shoes.
Little Miss Sunshine was a failure of marketing for me when I was watching all the Steve Carell movies that were coming out around that time. I thought it was going to be hilarious.
Rewatch it. It's really good.
I'm sure I'll like it. I didn't like it at the time. Nightmare Alley.
Yeah.
I'm Thinking of Ending Things. She was in About a Boy, which I didn't see.
Oh, that's so good.
I would say, I mean, Hereditary is the one that she gets like the most praise for nowadays. So I'm just gonna, if you've seen Hereditary, you get it.
I did not. I watched Lilo and Stitch instead because I was too scared.
That is true. I watched Hereditary by myself, but in Hereditary, she's this type of character, but she's a little bit more put together, and it sort of makes her unraveling more effective. And that's another one, like I said, that is a family drama first and a horror movie second. And she's a great mom for those types of
It's kind of crazy because she was like young in The Sixth Sense.
She was in her 20s, right?
Yeah. And she's always just been the same age to me.
Yeah.
Even like About a Boy, she plays a mom. But that's a mom. She's a mom with major mental health issues in About a Boy. It's a very, very great role and a great movie.
She was in The Hours also.
Oh, she was? Yeah, we got to watch The Hours.
For this? We watched The Hours.
Oh, we watched The Hours?
The Hours is the one with like Virginia Woolf and then like the...
Did I like it?
I think we liked it a little bit. It was Meryl, Julianne Moore, and Nicole Kidman. And it was the 3 separate stories.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I liked it that much.
Yeah, it was fine. It was good.
And then I loved her in Knives Out.
She was awesome in Knives Out.
Really funny.
Yeah. She was the whole cast is great in Knives Out, as we've talked about.
But she's like one of my favorites.
Yeah. Of the Thrombies, like her and Don Johnson, I think are amazing.
Oh, yeah. Don Johnson's great.
And also, she played Jesse Plemons' mom in I'm Thinking of Ending Things, and it was a trippy scene because it's like everything's changing and like...
Again, mom vibes.
Yeah.
Is she not a mom in any of these?
Huh?
I feel like she's always a mom.
She had a kid in Knives Out, right?
Yeah.
Was it the weird kid?
No, it was the girl from 13 Reasons Why.
Yes. I forget her name, but yes.
Yeah. Catherine Langford.
Yes. She was in Enough Said also.
Oh, that's a great movie.
She might not have been a mom in that movie.
All right. How about favorite Bruce Willis role?
Favorite Bruce Willis role? Well, I think he might be the best in this.
He's so good.
I thought that I said to you when the scene when after Cole is in the play and like everyone loves him and like the whole thing and his story's kind of over. He's talking to Bruce Willis on the stairs of the school, and Bruce Willis, he tells Bruce that, Malcolm to go back and talk to his wife, and as Malcolm's walking away, like Bruce Willis, he just has this look on his face, and I was like, it's a shame that, not a shame, but it's kind of crazy that Haley Joel Osment got all of the shine coming out of this movie, because Bruce Willis, I think, absolutely carried the movie. I think he was the best part of the movie, to be honest.
I agree with you.
No disrespect to the other, to the two who got nominated.
I loved Bruce Willis in this. What about Pulp Fiction?
Pulp Fiction? So I don't think of him when I think of Pulp Fiction. I obviously think of Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman. He's not really in my... I liked him in Sin City.
Okay.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but the style of it was just one of those things that drew, like the graphic novel style of it. I loved, and I thought he was great in that movie.
There's a couple 90s movies that he's in that I haven't seen that I know are his big ones, like 12 Monkeys, The Fifth Element, and Armageddon.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those either.
I definitely want to see Armageddon.
Well, Die Hard, of course.
Of course. Die Hard
90s,
is like one of my faves for him.
I just wanted to make sure we got that in there.
And then he was in Moonrise Kingdom, but I didn't like that movie.
Yeah, I didn't either. What about when he was Spike in Rugrats Go Wild, the movie?
I did love that movie. And this is kind of cool, too. He made his Broadway debut in 2015 in the stage adaptation of Misery, which he would be perfect for that.
That's awesome.
We talked about that during the Misery episode, but it's a fun...
Do you remember who the Kathy Bates role was?
I'm not sure.
We talked about it.
Hold on. Productions... Oh, they did a Bucks County Playhouse.
Oh, shout out
version.
If you listen to our Rocky Horror episode,
2012, and then it transitioned to, oh my gosh, it was Bruce Willis and Laurie Metcalf.
Yeah, I bet that was awesome.
Oh, that sounds so good.
At Bucks County Playhouse?
No, but when it moved to Broadway, they had they brought out the big guns. And then I do want to see Moonlighting, which is a comedy drama he was in.
I want to see Looper.
Oh, and Looper.
I wasn't a big, as I mentioned, Bruce Willis or Joseph Gordon-Levitt fan, so that didn't really interest me when it came out. But I've heard it's good. I would want to watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
If we did like some sort of like sci-fi kind of
deal. Right now, obviously, Bruce Willis is retired.
Yes. Because
he has it was aphasia, and then it developed into dementia diagnosis, and it's really sad. Yeah. But we have so many good things that we haven't seen.
And honestly, so many bad things, which I also find fun sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
He gave us a lot of movies.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see more.
Unbreakable. Which we didn't even mention.
Which I haven't seen.
I loved Unbreakable.
And he was at the end of Split.
He was.
Oh, that's a spoiler a little bit. But Split was really good.
Well, then he was in Glass after the fact.
Oh, okay, yeah. I really liked Split. I thought it was going to be so dumb.
Split, I liked it when I watched it, but looking back on it, I'm like, ugh.
Okay, but
especially with the way that we treat, like, how we should be treating people's portrayals of mental illness.
I understand that.
But, I mean, James McAvoy was really entertaining.
He was really good. And the movie was, like, a really entertaining movie.
Yeah.
But, I do agree with you.
Anya Taylor-Joy was in it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, is it possible in the year 2023, I have a take on this, is it possible to not know the twist of The Sixth Sense?
It's possible, but you have to get knocked out with a sledgehammer until you see the movie.
I think it's more and more possible every year.
Because there's more content, you mean?
Yes. I don't think
it's so much harder for things to go viral.
Exactly. Like, and I'll tell you something. Like, we think everyone knows it, but they don't. Even back in 2013, 10 years ago, when I did in my student teaching a film class, the kids didn't know the twist.
Really?
In 2013.
It also was, somebody messaged us on, I think it was Movie Friends, messaged us on Instagram about this and said basically that it was the perfect movie to capture this moment in time. But it actually, like, it kind of, I don't know if it ever really made it past that time. Like, for us it did, because we were around when it was like a huge deal.
Right.
But yeah, to your point, like, I'm not sure if it really captures people nowadays or stuck with people. Not that it doesn't capture them if they watch it.
Yeah.
But that it hasn't necessarily been it was a cultural like flashpoint in 1999 and after everything was referencing it. But like people probably know I See Dead People, but to your point, yeah, I don't know how much it's latched on in 2023.
Yeah. So I actually am very interested in that. I might ask around and see.
But if this came out in 2023 and became like a big thing, it would probably be hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of your favorite twists in movies?
Oh man. That's a tough one.
That's my last question.
My question was somewhat similar. It was what makes a great twist.
Well, what makes a great twist is, number one, something that there were clues and lots of breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
That's important to me. I hate twists where it's like hard to actually see it.
Yeah.
So that's a big one for me.
I also think it's important, not necessarily in every case, but I find twists great when they come out of nowhere. Like this movie, the whole thing was I See Dead People, but nobody knew that M. Night Shyamalan was going to add that twist at the end. Mm-hmm. But now, almost since this twist, it set off like a decade's worth of like terrible horror movie twists that just meant nothing.
Yeah.
So, like, it has to be something that grounds itself in the characters that matters as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So some of the ones that I wrote down for what makes a great twist are the sort of, I mean, we're going to try to stay away from spoilers just so you don't have to skip this section, but Arrival.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Arrival had one that mattered to the characters and it mattered to the overarching narrative. Mm-hmm. And it didn't come out of nowhere because it's kind of a mystery movie. Mm-hmm. But the way that it sort of clicked in, I thought was great. Mm-hmm. Citizen Kane is one of the classics.
Yep.
What Rosebud means at the end of the movie. And it's sort of, what's great about that one is it takes the entire movie that you've just seen and it twists it on its head, literally. Like it puts every action that was taken in that movie into a different light. Mm-hmm. Sort of like this. Sort of like The Sixth Sense.
Yep.
Another one that I have is Gone Baby Gone.
Yep, that's a good one.
Which, when you find out where the baby gone, it's an interesting twist. And again, it fits with the characters and it's not something that's expected. Mm-hmm. Did Ben Affleck direct that? I think he directed it.
Yeah.
And the other one I have is another one of the classics, Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That one we can spoil. Yeah. If we're spoiling it, then you probably shouldn't be listening to a movie podcast.
Yes.
That one, because a lot throughout the first movie and 3/4, you hear about Luke Skywalker's father and how Darth Vader killed him and how he was a great Jedi, and then all of a sudden he was gone, and then you find out that, oh my God, Darth Vader is the father. And that, again, reframes the entire first two movies, which Empire's my favorite, which I don't think is an uncommon opinion. But that one, it's just so good. Mm-hmm. That might be my favorite, actually.
That's a classic. All right, here's some other ones. Remember Me.
Oh, well, I actually wrote that down for what does not make a good twist.
It's not a good twist. Shutter Island, I thought, was a good one.
Yeah, the first time. I liked it the first time. I didn't love it the second time.
What about Gone Girl?
Gone Girl, there's so many twists, but the big one is great.
I love that movie. I love Gone Girl. Okay, how about Soylent Green?
That is the food one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Coco?
Yeah, Coco. That's a good one.
Coco was one where it was yeah. I wasn't shocked by that one.
No. Atonement has a really good twist in it.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen Atonement.
I haven't.
It's really good.
I have the book and I haven't seen the movie.
How about a classic, Planet of the Apes?
Yes. That one is I haven't seen the original, but that one it's I would wonder what the context is, because that's okay, but
yeah. The Others.
Yeah, The Others is a great one. We got to rewatch The Others.
Psycho.
Yep. Fight Club.
Oh, Usual Suspects.
Oh, Usual Suspects is the great one. That's another great one.
How about Searching?
Searching, yeah.
That was a good movie.
That was a good movie. It was one of the first that I remember watching that was told through entirely through a computer screen, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. And then you got your Jordan Peele movies.
Get Out, yeah, I was just thinking.
Get Out is an excellent one. That's honestly, Get Out reminds me a lot of Sixth Sense in terms of the screenplays being everything matters.
Yeah.
And everything's leading you into that one big point.
And everything has something to say.
And everything's important. Yeah. I really like that.
Memento.
Yeah. Seven.
Oh, yeah. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Yeah, there's so many good ones.
The Prestige. Nolan had a few in there.
Yeah, Prestige.
Saw X just came out recently.
Yeah, I won't be watching that.
I haven't watched any since Saw 5.
Yeah, lots of really good ones. I like movies with twists.
People love twists.
I love twists.
People love a twist, but it's got to be good.
It's got to be good. I get mad when it's like convoluted or doesn't make sense or whatever.
Or it's the end of Remember Me.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie though.
If you look up worst movie twists, the 10 stupidest twists of all time, it's got to be on here.
Oh, it's got to be number 1. I'm sorry.
It's number 4.
Yeah.
Number 1 is not a movie that I've heard of. But yeah, the number 23 is on here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, those are some good twists.
That's all I got.
All right, what do I got? We overlapped a little bit. Does it bother you that in this movie, Toni Collette got rid of her Australian accent but didn't go full Philly?
I think she went pretty Philly.
Well, I'm thinking like Kate Winslet.
Oh, you're
Philly.
thinking like Mare.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to Wawa, get some water. Water, what do you want?
Water, yeah.
What do you want?
WUDDER.
Hey, can you get me some water at the Wawa?
Yeah.
And they're
Toni
like,
Collette didn't go that far.
No. She went more like Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Maybe she's from Brooklyn.
Oh, I was like, Toni Collette's Australian.
No, she's Australian.
I noticed that and I was like, if this was 2023, she would have gone further.
She would have gone with the little like Delco accent. Yeah, for sure. She'd be like, "Hey, go Birds."
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my son over here, but we're watching the Birds.
This was the first movie that had the new logos for the Sixers and the Eagles in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's like, "Hey, we're not wearing Kelly Green anymore.
Yeah.
We're not doing Kelly Green."
This was like the time of the Campbell's Chunky Soup, Donovan McNabb's mom.
Oh, I like Donovan's mom. She's really nice with the chunky soups. Yeah, hey, go get yourself some water ice over there. Hey, pick me up a soft pretzel. Yeah.
I wish Toni would have done it.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, Sixth Sense too.
Yeah.
Do you like Haley Joel Osment in this movie?
Yeah. I just kids in movies sometimes I'm like, oh.
What about kids in real life? I mean, like a kid,
I like
a 9-year-old kid. No, I mean like a 9-year-old kid. I thought he did a decent job of being like a weird 9-year-old kid.
No, he did amazing.
The Shyamalan talked about casting him, and he said a couple things. One thing he said was when he showed up, Osment was not only the only kid to have read the entire script, but he read the entire script 5 times.
Yeah.
And he said that Michael Cera also auditioned, which is hilarious. But Shyamalan said about Osment that he was one of those few kids that auditioned that he could see had like the weight of the world in his eyes. Like he just knew how to connect on a human level better than every other kid that auditioned.
Right.
And I can totally see that in this movie.
Well, I know that Shyamalan originally thought of someone like kind of moodier and like dark and sad, but and like he's like this little cherub, but it works because he's also somebody that these ghosts are going to for help. So he needs to be somebody that seems more approachable.
He's not exactly Donnie Darko.
Right, exactly.
Where it's like, dude, just chill.
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's really good in this movie. And I think that in terms of child acting, he's a good regular actor in this movie.
Yeah,
I like Haley Joel Osment in general. I think whenever I see him pop up and stuff.
Plus your team nominate kids in movies.
I am team nominate kids. He should have been the lead. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, this is one of the few where, like, the kid is not the lead.
No, he's
in one of
very
these
clearly supporting.
But yeah, I'm actually not sure what else I've seen him in other than his little mini role in The Boys, where he played a washed up child medium.
Smart. It's fun casting.
But he's been in some stuff that I have. Oh, he was in like Tusk. Remember that movie?
Yeah. Justin Long.
AI, artificial intelligence.
Spielberg.
Apparently, Jodie Foster got in touch with him after this movie, seeing all the like attention he was getting because she had been a child movie star too. So he was maybe one of those first people who kind of had people looking out for him when he was a kid.
Yeah, that's nice.
I mean, we talked about Mara Wilson and Matilda a few weeks ago, who was before this, but you know, there's a long line of child stars who went on to not have great teenage years and young adult years, but I don't think that he's one of them. I think that he did okay. Okay, I know there's a lot of them. This goes into something that we kind of already talked about. I think this has an argument to be the most Philly movie of all time.
Okay. Well, why? Because all the ghosts?
Not only the ghosts, but it goes into like the history of Philadelphia.
Why? Because there's that one guy with the one tooth in that viral video.
The guy in the viral video.
About, what is it, the Sixers?
Yeah.
Or no, it was the Phillies.
It was the Phillies.
He literally had one tooth.
Yes, which is very Philly.
It was weird. I saw him in The Sixth Sense too.
Yeah, he was one of the ghosts.
He's just walking by.
Well, they're talking about how like when he's talking to the teacher and he's like, no, they killed people here. Like, I know that they hang people here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he sort of gets underneath the veneer of Philly, the facade, and the United States and like the world in general, but specifically Philly. And I think that this movie it looks so Philly.
It does, very much so.
Like,
I mean, okay, did they really live in a brownstone in Old City? Like,
maybe,
come on.
Maybe in the 90s.
Like, those places are so expensive. But yes, I agree with you. And I like that it shows Philly as like it is in a lot of parts. A lot of times Philly gets a bad rep, and this shows it in a nice way.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
I do wish that there would be a little more Philly attitude. Like, I'm sorry, when there was the accident, nobody was cursing.
Yeah.
Nobody was getting out of their car yelling.
Nobody was screaming.
No one was screaming. There was not many honks. Like, sorry, that's not really Philly to me. But yeah, besides that, totally.
Okay. What else? We got a question on Instagram from, I think it was from Cinema Sugar, and they said, is M. Night Shyamalan a good actor?
Sure.
So in this movie, he plays a doctor. He hated his role in this movie. He cut out like most of it.
Why did he give it to himself?
I mean, dude, you're the one who made the decision.
That's like, I see this all the time. Like, J.K. Rowling wishes that Ron and Hermione ended up together, and someone's like, ain't she write the book? Like, dude, you can just cast somebody else.
So he's in almost all of his movies, if not all of his movies. And as I mentioned, I haven't seen a lot of them, but he was good in this. I thought he was fine.
He's fine.
He also did this because his dad was a doctor and he wanted to kind of
That's nice.
pay homage. He was credited in Unbreakable as stadium drug dealer, and then he was the same character in Split and Glass.
Oh, that's cool because it's the same universe.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, no, I think he's fine. I didn't think he detracted from the movie, even though we both did the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Leo
when
we saw him we screamed when we saw him on screen. Yeah, I think he's fine. All right. Anything else? Is Lynn a good mom?
Yes.
You think so?
Very much so.
Okay, why?
Because she puts her son above everything else. She doesn't know what to do. She's a single parent. She doesn't have her mom to talk to. She's by herself, a lot on her shoulders. She has 2 jobs, and she's just trying to support her and her kid. And she does a really nice job. She knows he's weird.
Yeah.
She knows he gets bullied.
I mean,
she
it's
knows
impossible
that he's got something going on, and she can't figure it out. And she spends the whole movie trying to not necessarily figure it out. It's not like she's going on Nancy Drew's hunt to figure it out, but she's trying to support her child anyway. And I think that that's what a good mom does.
Okay.
Why? You don't think so?
No, it's not that I don't think so. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
What's your opinion?
I think she is good. She's trying.
Yeah, she's trying. That's all you can
And
ask.
she's trying and she's not perfect.
Right.
Which I think is fair.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I had actually a lot of notes for this movie, but I'll just pick some good ones. I love that Cole's fantasy in the beginning is to be picked first in kickball.
Yeah.
It's such a like outcast kid kind of like. It's a good way to like establish that.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote that one of the strengths of this movie is how after the shooting, the movie still wants you to feel uneasy. Like there's no horror stuff right after the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the next like 20 minutes, it just doesn't let up though. There's music, like the way the music is, the rustling leaves, the noirish kind of atmosphere, and it just wants you to know that something is wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you, and there's not even really any stakes at that point yet. But the movie's telling you. I wrote, that's how you know he's a good kid. The dog curls up on his bed when he's not there.
Yeah, that was so cute.
Also, Tommy Tomasano's cough syrup commercial bit is great. This movie's funnier than I remembered.
I love that. It's such a funny little
One of Cole's classmates in the play is he acted in the cough syrup commercials.
And I like that they actually show the commercial.
And then they
too.
show the commercial, and he's like just like a hacky little kid actor.
It's so funny.
But he gets mad at everybody else for being bad in the play.
Yeah.
That's very, very funny. I also laughed at the bit when Anna she sells like jewelry, and she's selling the engagement ring to the couple, and it's like this beautiful, expensive ring, and the guy's like, "Oh, you look like a Burmese sapphire. You don't need something like this." And like the dynamic between the two of them was funny.
That is funny. Well, what I like too about the Tommy Tomasino, right? That's how you say his name.
I thought it was Tomasano, but
Tomasano.
who cares?
What's funny about that too is that Haley Joel Osment's character Cole is acting the entire time because he has to act like he doesn't see these ghosts everywhere in his life.
Yes.
So like it's funny that like Tommy had this one tiny little one-liner in a commercial, and he's terrible, and he's seen as this big actor, but really Cole's acting the entire time. I really like that little aspect of it. And then when it's his turn to shine in the play at the end, Cole does amazing.
Yes.
Because he's been acting this whole time.
People said that the Oscar reel scene was the shopping cart scene with Toni Collette.
I love that scene.
And Haley Joel Osment, yeah. Because you get like the playfulness, but you also get like the cloud hanging over them at the same time. It's a really sweet scene. What else? That's all my notes. I will do trivia. Yeah, all right. Tom's top 5 trivia. My first one. According to Michael Cera, this was the first film he ever auditioned for.
Wow, that's fun.
He read for the part of Cole, and in this, the scene he did was the magic trick scene with the penny. But he later admitted that he did it too cheerfully because he didn't read the entire script, so he didn't know that Cole was supposed to be like a quiet kid.
Wow.
Number 2, M. Night Shyamalan pitched the film as a cross between The Exorcist and Ordinary People.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Ordinary
exactly
People, Oscar
it.
winner.
I love Ordinary People, and I love The Exorcist.
When Cole and his mother are sitting in the kitchen, there is a glass on the table that can only be bought in Philadelphia. It originally comes filled with pen-made sour cream, which is not readily available anywhere else.
There you go.
Number 4. For this film, M. Night Shyamalan became the 6th person nominated for the Academy Award for Best Director before the age of 30. He was 29. After Orson Welles, 26, Citizen Kane, 1941. Claude Lelouch, 29 for A Man and a Woman, 1966. George Lucas, 29 for American Graffiti, 1973. Kenneth Branagh, 29 for Henry V, 1989. And finally, a movie we've covered, John Singleton, 24, Boys in the Hood, 1991.
24. Wow.
None of them have won.
That's messed up, bro.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
How old was
3
Damien
of them.
Chazelle? Did he win yet? He didn't win yet, Best Director. Or no, did he win for La La Land?
I think he might have won for La La Land.
How old was he in La La Land?
Let's see here. I think he was around that age.
30-ish.
Yeah. He was born in, so it came out in
2017?
2016, and I think he was 30
Oh, okay.
because he was born January 19th, 1985.
Okay. Close, no cigar.
Yes, correct. I don't know if there have been any more since. He did win Best Director for La La Land. He at 32, because it was 2017.
Oh, okay.
At 32, he is the youngest person to win the Academy Award and Golden Globe for Best Director.
Wow, I'm so smart. Look at me.
Yep. And number 5, according to M. Night Shyamalan, the movie was inspired by an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark called The Tale of the Dream Girl.
Yes, indeed. I've seen it, and I cried, and I was called to dinner, and
Maybe that's why your dad knew the
like
twist.
I wasn't. Listen, I've seen it, and do you know what it's about? It's a guy, and he's a high school. He wears like his Letterman's jacket, and he's walking through the halls, and the only person who talks to him is his sister. And you're like, why is the only person who talks to him his sister? And then you find out he actually died. He died.
She shows him his own obituary.
Yes. I was shook. I saw that Are You Afraid in the Dark episode when it came out. I was sobbing before dinner because it was really sad. And like he had a girlfriend. He had like a little necklace and stuff. It was a whole thing. And then The Sixth Sense came out and I'm like, where have I seen this before? So yes, I did know that.
All right, so next I'm going to do the Roger Ebert review.
Okay.
He gave it 3 stars out of 4.
Okay.
And a thumb up. Some things that he said were, he said, Bruce Willis often finds himself in fantasies and science fiction films. perhaps he fits easily into them because he is so down to earth. He rarely seems ridiculous even when everything else on the screen is. See Armageddon. Because he never overreaches. He usually plays his characters flat and matter of fact. Here, there is a poignancy in his bewilderment. The film opens with the mayor presenting him with a citation, and that moment precisely marks the beginning of his professional decline. He goes down with a sort of doomed dignity. He also said, I have to admit I was blindsided by the ending. The solution to many of the film's puzzlements is right there in plain view, and the movie hasn't cheated, but the very boldness of the storytelling carried me right past the crucial hints and right through to the end of the film where everything takes on an intriguing new dimension. The film was written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, whose previous film, Wide Awake, was also about a little boy with a supernatural touch. He mourned his dead grandfather and demanded an explanation from God. I didn't think that one works. The Sixth Sense has a kind of calm, sneaky self-confidence that allows it to take us down a strange path intriguingly.
Great.
Yeah, I think it's fun. It's funny to see Ebert review some of these like Pantheon movies, these like flashpoint moments, to see if he got him right or wrong. And he's relatively there. He's in the ballpark.
Yeah.
What else? I just have my little kind of like deep dive and a half. My one is about the use of Philadelphia in this movie, and a lot of it has to do with sort of how I sort of mentioned like the suppression of history. So I'm reading from it was on themovieblog.com, and it was written in 2019. And the title of the article is, I'm ready to communicate with you now. The millennial anxieties of the Sixth Sense and feeling alone in the city of brotherly love. So it's just a blog post. And it's super interesting because, first of all, M. Night Shyamalan's father, he talked about why his family moved from India and where they chose to move. And he said his family wanted to come to the United States to live the American dream. His father especially longed to come to the United States. He said, I want to have the American dream, and I want to go to Philadelphia where the Constitution, independence, the Liberty Bell were. That was his thing. He wanted to go directly to the source of the dream, which is an interesting way to look at like that whole idea. So Shyamalan is obviously a proud Philadelphian.
Yep.
What I found to be interesting in this movie, and which this blog post touches on, it obviously holds an important place in American history. It was one of the nation's first industrial centers. And this author says, as such, it feels appropriate that The Sixth Sense touches on the idea of the erasure and suppression of history, the way in which the part is erased and uncomfortable truths are quickly forgotten. And then it talks about how glossing over like slavery, which the movie doesn't. Like the movie like basically says like Philadelphia wasn't exempt from that. This person also says, The Sixth Sense is anchored in Philadelphia in another more direct way. A lot of art based on the city riffs on the idea of the city of brotherly love, making Philadelphia a popular setting for stories about human connection. The Sixth Sense plays to this by casting Philadelphia as a city of isolation and alienation. The film repeatedly emphasizes how alone Cole feels. Shyamalan uses negative space around Haley Joel Osment to reinforce the sense of distance, notably in the shots of Cole outside the schoolhouse. Shyamalan uses long takes and wide-angle shots to emphasize the space that exists between actors, especially in conversations between Cole and Lynn or Malcolm. Every character in The Sixth Sense exists apart from everybody else, separated in some fundamental way. For example, Cole investing considerable energy into pretending to be something that he is not. He presents a facade to the world masking his true self. Despite the fact that everybody knows the premise of the film 20 years later, Cole waits until almost an hour into The Sixth Sense to reveal that he can see dead people. The Sixth Sense is a film that is about the breakdown of communication, whether between Cole and Lynn or between Malcolm and Anna. There is a recurring emphasis on miscommunication. This is most obvious in the film's suggestion that ghosts can only talk to certain people and are ignored by others. However, it is also suggested in other ways. For example, Malcolm speaks, Cole speaks Latin, which is like a bizarre thing to be doing as a kid by yourself. When he's talking about his soldiers in the church, his little toy soldiers, Cole says that only one of them speaks Latin. And so it's, again, isolation and aloneness. Rewatching The Sixth Sense, it is striking how much of the film is captured through media, how often characters point to tape recordings and video cassettes in order to explain the world around them. Malcolm listens to tapes of earlier sessions, comes home to watch his wife watching their wedding video, things like that. Even at the climax, the audience at Cole's school play is a sea of camcorders. And it's sort of, I like the idea that it took Philadelphia, turned the brotherly love kind of thing on its head, and sort of explored the inverse of that, contrasting it with Philadelphia. And my other one is about what makes this twist so great. Like, for example, I'm just telling you, again, as I said, the twist in this movie is told to you every single scene. For example, and it's not done in a way that is super, like, under the radar. So Shyamalan deliberately used the color red to depict when the world of the living and the dead were going to cross over.
Yep.
If red was in a scene where that was not the case, he would take it out or change it. The door to the church where Cole and Malcolm first interact is red. The statue Cole takes from the church has a red robe. The doorknob to Malcolm's basement is red. Cole's school uniform jacket is red. He is often approached by the dead people while at school and or wearing his uniform. Anna wears a red dress at the restaurant when Malcolm is late for their anniversary. When Malcolm is watching Anna in the shower and notices her prescription in the cabinet, it is in a red-brown container. Lynn's nail polish is red when she's pointing out the ghosts on all the pictures of Cole in the hallway. Cole's free association writing is in red ink. At the birthday party, all the visible balloons are pastel-colored except the red balloon that floats up the stairway when he goes up to the cupboard. Cole's wearing a red sweater when he's attacked by the spirit in the closet. His blanket at the hospital is red. Everything is red.
And his hiding place is red, too.
His, like, tent. The outfit worn by Mrs. Collins at Kira's wake is bright red. What she brings to Kira is tomato soup. The bottle of pine cleaner she adds to the soup has a red cap on it. Everything is red in this movie. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is so heavy-handed, and it's so kind of like...
But did you pick up on it
Did you pick up on it? No.
No, nobody did.
And, like, it's almost... It makes it such a great twist that it's so elementary. Yeah. And this is only one thing. Like, there's a bunch of little things. Like, obviously, Bruce Willis doesn't talk to anybody besides Cole. Like, there's these things that you pick up on later on. But even something as simple as the color red, when you look back, you're like, how did I not realize this?
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, so I think almost in a way where it's so obvious that it's clever and not obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. I love that. And again, there's like, I didn't even name all the red moments. Like there's 20 of them. There's 25 of them. It's crazy. The one that really stuck out to me was the mom's dress at the wake. That I think was the most obvious because everybody else was wearing black. Right. You even mentioned it, I think. But yeah, I love that. And I love that somebody considered so heavy-handed can just slide it all right by you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I've got, I think, on The Sixth Sense. Do you have anything else?
No, I love this movie.
Yeah, it's great. That being said, does The Sixth Sense make Baby's first watch list?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an easy one. Even if I didn't like
it. Is it PG-13?
I don't think so, because there's a lot of, like, gore.
Oh, yeah. True.
But maybe it was, because a lot of people saw it. No, yeah, it was rated PG-13 for intense thematic material and violent images.
Yeah. I thought so.
Yeah. So, what are your takeaways?
I forget. How about from a mom standpoint, you could say, always support your child when they're going through something, even if you don't fully understand it.
Yeah.
How about that?
I think that the overarching theme, as I mentioned in that little segment about Philly, is communication. If you feel like you're not being heard, let me know.
Oh, wow.
Like, I don't know. Sometimes things come and you're like, you're focusing on life. And then things get crossed up. You don't necessarily think about other people enough, and you need to be told that sometimes. I need to be told that sometimes. So, yeah, I think that would be my takeaway.
Good.
Next week, we didn't come up with a list yet, but we are...
I didn't either.
We are going to, for November, be doing a comfort food month.
Yeah.
So what that means is we haven't decided yet, but it's either going to be literally food movies because Thanksgiving and November and all that, or it's going to be movies that you could watch whenever, like anytime, that are like literally your comfort food movies that you could turn on when you're happy, sad, whatever. And we're going to do 4 of those. We're going to pick 2 each.
Yes.
So stay tuned to our Instagram for that, and I will post those on probably the day after this comes out, which will be on Wednesday. Yeah, so this was The Sixth Sense, and we hope you enjoyed, and we hope you keep following us wherever you're not following us. And yeah, we will see you next week for, we don't know yet.
Okay. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. See you later.
Bye.